Good evening, everyone. I'd like to officially call this meeting of the City of South Fulton Planning Commission to order. Today is Wednesday, April 17th, 2025, and it is 6:14 p.m. Bef- 6:14. I'm sorry, is it 16? I'm sorry, it's April 16th, 2025. I'm a day ahead, and it is 6:14 p.m. Before we begin, I want to thank everyone for coming here tonight. This commission is made up of 8 members appointed by the mayor and city council, and we're here to hold public hearings and make recommendations on rezoning applications, use permits, concurrent variances, land use plan amendments, and other zoning related matters. Here's how the process works. The applicant will have 10 minutes to present their case. They may reserve time for rebuttal. Opposition speakers will have 10 minutes total. If more than one person wants to speak, we ask that you coordinate and share the time. All proponents will also have 10 minutes. All speakers must complete a comment card and indicate whether they are for or against the case. For each case, the commission will vote twice. First, on the findings of fact based on what staff has presented, and second, to approve, deny, or defer the application itself. The second vote determines the board's recommendation to the City Council on April 22nd, 2025. Please refrain from verbal outbursts during the hearing and only speak when to address the commission during the public comment portion. Just as a quick housekeeping rule, commissioners, tonight we have a full agenda, as you see. So if you can, please state it fully for the record when we're doing motions, so that we can just stay aligned and make sure that our minutes are very accurate. With that, staff, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Brianna McGee, Commissioner Giovanna Smith Vickers,
Here.
Commissioner Keith Perry,
Present.
Commissioner Reverend Jones,
Present.
Commissioner Jefferson,
Present.
Commissioner Devon,
Present.
Commissioner Boone. We have quorum.
Thank you. Commissioners, you've had a chance to review tonight's agenda. Are there any edits to the agenda? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So move.
I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The agenda is approved. Next, we'll move on to the minutes from the last planning commission meeting. Are there any corrections or edits? I do have one correction to the agenda. I'm sorry, to the minutes from the last meeting. My name is spelled incorrectly on the first page, and the word February is also spelled wrong. So 2 edits, just really simple. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So move. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The minutes are approved. Okay, so now we're going to move into the public hearing. Looks like we have about 9 cases on the agenda tonight. We have some old business here, starting with case Z24-033, public hearing and application by Century Communities, care of Gaskins and LaCroix, requesting a rezoning from AG1 Agricultural District to CUP Community Unit Plan to develop a subdivision with 220 new single-family detached homes and 1 existing single-family dwelling on 119.36 acres of land at various parcels. And these properties are located in Council District 4. Staff, can you come up to the podium for the report?
Thank you. Can I get it from the chair?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Reggie.
Madam Chair, point of order.
Yes, sir.
Just before we start, we had the first police officer in the history of our city lost his life on last night, Lieutenant Helio Garcia. And I just want to see if we could pause and have a moment of silence for Lieutenant Garcia, who lost his life last night. We're in deep thought and prayer for his family and for his colleagues who serve our city well. and for the chief and our city government. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Reginald, we're ready for you.
Thank you. This is case Z24-00033. This is a request to go from the AG1 Agricultural District to CUP Community Unit Plan to construct 213 single-family detached homes. There is one existing single-family dwelling on the property that will remain. This is in Council District 4. This case was advertised initially on January 28, 2025, for a hearing to be held on March 11th. It was deferred at that point to this date, which is April the 16th. There are 3 people who are signed up to speak on this item. Staff's recommendation is approval conditional.
Thank you, Reginald. At this time, is the applicant present? Okay, please come to the podium. How are you? I'm well. So you'll have 10 minutes to present your case. And can you please state your name and who you're with?
Absolutely. I'm Danny Blumenthal with Gaskins LaCroix, 12. Thank you. Danny Blumenthal with Gaskins LaCroix, 1266 Powder Springs Road in Marietta, Georgia. Awesome. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. I'm here on behalf of Century Communities to present this rezoning request for properties located at 7357, 7361, and 7365 Ono Road. Next slide, please. Thank you. Century Communities is requesting to rezone approximately 119.36 acres of land from AG1 to CUP for 213 new single-family detached homes, and that one existing home on the property will remain on the site. This proposal aligns with the comprehensive plan, which allows up to 2 units per acre in the rural neighborhood land use area, and this proposal is for a density of 1.79 units per acre. Next slide, thank you. So to provide some context for you, the site's located on the west side of Ono Road, east of Cascade Palmetto Highway, and just below South Fulton Parkway. And it's right near the intersection of Ono Road and Wilkerson Mill Road. It's in District 4. Next slide, please. So as I stated previously, the property is currently zoned AG1, but it is adjacent to some CUP zone property to the north and west. And the future land use is rural neighborhood, which permits 1 to 2 units per acre. And the next slide, please. Cool, thank you. So this is the site plan. This is the site plan that we submitted with the rezoning request. The following slide has a colorized version, which may be easier to see if we could flip there. So this is just rotated, 2 slides down for the color. Awesome, thank you. So it's rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise, just for reference, so it could fit better on the screen here. So as I stated before, this plan is for 213 new lots, plus the one existing lot, which will be retained by the current property owner. We're proposing a minimum lot size of 7,500 square feet and a minimum lot width of 50 feet along Ono Road. However, the lots are shown at a minimum width of 150 feet to preserve the rural appearance of the area. Additionally, along Ono Road, we've proposed a 25-foot landscape area for screening and a decorative fence. We're also proposing to maintain the rural character of the frontage by not including curb, gutter, or sidewalk along Ono Road. An amenity area is also planned, featuring a pool, cabana, playground, and a walking trail, which goes around the existing lake on the property. Internally, there will be sidewalks on both sides of all new streets. Based on feedback from the neighbors, some of which are here this evening, we've prepared a list of zoning conditions to further enhance the development, and we believe all of these would be able to be enforced by the city of South Fulton. And those are included in the staff report. I do believe I have those on a later slide. If you haven't received those, I'd be happy to go through them with you. But But in summary, this request is consistent with a comprehensive plan, and it meets the requirements of the Code of Ordinances. And that concludes my presentation. I respectfully ask that you recommend approval, but would be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. You can take a seat.
Donna Bledsoe.
Reggie, is this for those speaking in opposition right now?
No, this is still 4.
Got it.
Hi, my name is Donna Buckner Bledsoe. I am the last remaining heir to the property in question. I just wanted to say that I'm 81 and I have lived and was raised on that property. My father and mother bought that property when it was nothing but woods and a dried up cornfield. And they spent their life developing that into 2 beautiful ponds and pastures, fenced and cross-fenced. And I would greatly appreciate it if we could get approval for the rezoning so that my parents' hard work will not be in vain. They spent their lives building this farm up. And that's all I have to say. Appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
Laura Bledsoe.
Okay. So, do we have anyone in opposition, Reggie?
We do.
How many?
2.
Okay.
Brian O'Donnell.
Can I give this to you? I'd like to speak out against this proposal for our subdivision on Ono Road. The area is currently rural. Every other property that adjoins this is currently, that's been developed so far is a minimum of 5 acres on Ono Road, anything east and north. On top of that, I am immediately next door, across the creek and corner to this property. And as you look at that paperwork, their presentation is quite nice, but what it doesn't show you is the floodplains and so forth. They are developing every single ounce of that land. Once you remove the lake and the floodplain, it's well above their 1.76. It's probably closer to about 6 units per developmental acre. On top of that, as you can see some pictures of my property where it's flooded out now, we cannot control what Palmetto does, but they have developed some warehouses and so forth. Where I first moved in, I did not have flooding in my backyard. As we continue to develop the area, the flooding gets worse and worse. If you knock down every single tree and put up roads and sidewalks and impermeable substrate, there's going to be runoff. It's going to have to go somewhere, and I'll tell you where it's going to go. It's going to go down to that creek, and while they may be able to maintain it on their side of the creek, they cannot prevent it from going across the creek. Immediately across the creek, if you'll notice, there's a Ono Road pump station for our sewer. That's our city infrastructure. It bumps right up to the floodplain. Do we really want to jeopardize that, our own infrastructure? I really don't think so. We talk about rural. They got 5-foot setbacks. That's 10 feet between each house. One basketball hoop. One basketball hoop. Is that rural? When I think of rural, look at the big picture in front of you. That's on Short Road. That is a house that was just recently developed in the last 6 months. They saved the trees. That's rural. As you look at picture number 2, that is Century Communities that's developing across the street from that home. Do we call that rural? Is that what we want? That's not a city on the rise. That's a city beholden to a developer and the corporate dollar. Also, as you look at the trees in those pictures, that's what a 25-foot setback looks like. While they make it look nice and pretty on their architectural rendering, that's what it really looks like. Picture number 2 also will show you the 100-foot setback, the orange fence. That's what's off the road. That's what they're going to propose. I was once a HOA president down in Noonan at Springwater Plantation, which was built around a lake. My number one problem with that neighborhood was it had to be dredged every 5 years due to the silt and the runoff from our own roads into the lake. They're proposing a neighborhood of basically entry-level homes. It cost us over $350,000 20 years ago to have that lake dredged. What are these people, these new homeowners, going to do to maintain those lakes and that dam? I'm sorry, but maintaining it is not cheap. It's not a sexy purchase to go out and have riprap and then somebody monitor that dam on a regular basis. These are new homeowners at 1,700 square feet. This is not rural, and we respectfully request that you deny this application today.
Thank you.
We have another opposing, Michael.
My name is Michael Shapey. I live on Hobgood Road in District 4. Hello, Mr. Jefferson, Madam Chairman, and the rest of the committee, council. I am opposed to the rezoning from Ag 1 to CUP. But I want to be clear, I'm not opposed to development. I understand as we have more kids and the Atlanta area grows, we need homes. But we're a rural residential area, and the type of development that comes here has to be consistent with what we have. In the neighborhoods in the adjoining area, the community is rural, and I'm talking about Bear Creek Trail, Bishop Place, Wilkerson's Mill, Bear Creek Estates. All of these homes have a minimum lot size of 1 home per acre. Many of the lot sizes are much larger. The proposed project is not consistent with this, not even close. They're talking about a minimum lot size of 7,500 acres, or 7,500 square feet, 7,500 square feet, and that is 6 homes per acre, not 1 home per acre. And this plan is not consistent with our comprehensive plan, as was reinforced at the last comprehensive plan meeting I attended, which our community showed we want our area to remain rural. The 7,500 square foot lot, the 2 points I want to specify, the 7,500 square foot home lots is 6 homes per acre. That is residential. You can go to Fairburn, you can go to Palmetto, you can go to Atlanta and find larger lot sizes than that, and you will not tell me that that is not an urban area. We're talking about urban development here, not residential development. Yeah, 7,500 square feet is basically our garden size or our chicken run size in rural areas. That's what we have. And the way they base density here is inappropriate. You see that we have a lake and wetlands. They can't build on a lake. And unless they're building, pontoon boat homes, and I'm not suggesting we do, it's not appropriate to say that the density is lower based on areas that cannot be developed. So for those reasons, I am opposed to this project, but again, I'm opposed to this type of project changing from AG1 to CUP, although I am not opposed, and I am open to, and I'm sure the rest of you are, open to development, but not this type of development in an established community with 1 home per acre. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have no more cards.
Thank you so much. Gaskins LaCroix, you have 6 minutes and 14 seconds left for rebuttal.
Thank you. I'll do my best to address all of those concerns that were brought up. So first of all, the city of South Fulton uses gross density to calculate density throughout the city, not net density. So yes, it is true, we're not touching the lake, the, wetlands, the streams. There's 100-foot buffers on all of the streams that will be respected as part of this development. But as the city, determines density, this is 1.79 units per acre and is consistent with what they consider to be rural neighborhood. Regarding stormwater, the city, we will make sure to, meet all of the city and state requirements. Our engineers that are working on, hydrology and grading and erosion control plans will work closely with the city engineer to ensure that all of the requirements are met. Let's see, these homes will be starting at $400,000, or in the 400,000s, excuse me. So I don't know that this would be considered a starter home, but there will be an HOA that would be mandatory, and they'd be responsible for maintaining, the lakes, the streams, all of the common area, which actually takes up approximately half of the site, that won't be developed. And this is also consistent, if you go to, you don't need to flip it. On another slide, I had the zoning map up, and there are 2 CUP zoned parcels, not currently developed, but they're zoned CUP, and that is consistent with this, and it's abutting on the northwest side of the property. So again, this is consistent with what the city has determined appropriate for this area. They call it rural neighborhood, and we would make sure to meet all of the requirements for stormwater and everything of the like. So if there are any additional questions, I'd be happy to answer those as well.
Are you done? You're
Yes,
good?
ma'am.
Okay, cool. You can take a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, do we have any questions for the applicant or staff? Okay, Commissioner Perry?
Question for the applicant. So even though you're looking at gross density for the whole development, is it true that if we just look at the livable, developable land on there, that we are talking about, on the developable land, we're talking about roughly 6 homes per acre?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you the exact acreage of developable land versus undevelopable, but that is not how the city determines density. So that's not even something that I was looking at before coming here this evening. I'd be happy to get that information for you. I know that we have some engineered plans for this that would have that, but I don't have it on me. But this does meet the policies and intent of rural neighborhood, and how the city determines density for a site. But I can't directly answer that question at this moment. I don't know and I'm not sure where the gentleman who said that got the acreage of the developable area either. So I'm sorry, I don't have that information.
Thank you. Commissioners, do we have any additional questions for the applicant or staff? Okay. Seeing no further questions or comments, I now close the public hearing for this case. We'll now take our first vote, excuse me, guys, which is on the findings of fact presented by staff. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve staff's finding the fact for this case.
Can I get a second?
A second.
All in favor of the findings of fact as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The motion carries. We'll now take our second vote, which is to approve, deny, or defer the application. Can I get a motion for action on the application?
I'd like to I'm gonna make a motion, but before I do, I just wanna take a second to explain why I'm making this motion. I agree with the community that was against it, that even though it does qualify as 1.79 under the gross usage of the property, I think to maintain the rural character, we're talking about basically six houses on 1 acre of land, which is far from rural. So for that reason, I make a motion that we deny Z 24033.
Second.
All those in favor to deny case Z 24-003, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. The motion carries.
Madam Chair, did everyone vote?
Yes, Jefferson did vote.
We're not gonna
I-
do roll call anymore? Roll call,
So,
please.
to keep this meeting going a little bit quicker, Commissioner Perry, we're not gonna do a roll call right now. So we need to do the
And
motion.
that's
If we
fine, but
need,
I certainly want
Sure.
to ensure that everyone's vote is recorded.
absolutely. If we need to redo, the motion, we can. Did you get that? Adriana? Okay. Okay. So can I get a motion to deny case Z 24-033?
Well, I think we already had the motion in the second. If we could just call for the vote
Want
again.
to call for the vote
just-
again? Okay, sure. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to move into the public hearing for case U 25-001. Public hearing and application by Roberta Cutright requesting a special use permit to operate a nail salon at 1105 Research Center Drive. The property is in City Council District 1. Staff, can you present the report? Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Smith Vickers, can we allow the public to come in that's switching out from the folks
Oh,
that just
absolutely.
left?
Sure. I didn't realize there was some more out there. Oh, okay. Sure.
So this applicant is requesting a deferral so we can continue with the process.
Okay, so if they're requesting a deferral, they need to come up and request a deferral. Okay,
We received no cards from the applicant.
okay. Is the applicant present? So the applicant's not present, Reginald?
That is correct.
Okay. Would staff like to request a deferral on behalf of the applicant, or would you, or what's the,
Staff will request a deferral on behalf of the applicant.
okay. So the commissioner staff has requested a deferral, on behalf of the applicant. Reginald, do we need a motion for that? Okay. So staff has requested a deferral on behalf of the applicant. Can I get a motion for a deferral of case U 25-001?
So moved.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, the deferral is approved. Reginald, can you confirm what meeting that deferral will go to? Would be a June meeting?
That's correct. That will go to the June meeting, which I believe is June the 18th.
Thank you. Okay. So now we are going to move into we have another deferral here. Okay. So it looks like we have a deferral request for case Z25-001 / U25-002. I'm sorry? Okay, so,
So that note that's underneath the agenda is for the case above that.
got it. Okay. 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 So,
Chair, point of order. Is it possible that we could bring all the deferrals up and just deal with the deferrals first and then go on with what business we're actually gonna deal with tonight?
I agree.
Is that possible?
Reginald, as far as moving up the agenda, can we still move up items on the agenda, or should we have done that in the beginning?
That's under the purview of the chair if you
Okay,
choose.
sure. So it looks like, we can move up, let's see, we've already done U25-001, and would it be KC25-007 is requesting deferral also? Okay. And let's see, as well as Z25, CDP 25006? Okay. So let's move up those. Okay. So let's start with KZ25-007. Is this deferral being requested by staff or is this by the applicant?
By the applicant.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Mr. Coleman. Or Ms. Coleman.
Adriana, just to confirm, because we're a little confused on how the deferrals are listed under here, the deferral is under the item, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Got it.
So we do have a card for the applicant, Casey Coleman. Cassius Coleman.
Okay.
If
Thank
you're
you.
requesting the first, please come to the podium for us.
Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
are we now addressing Z25007?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Okay.
And they're requesting a deferral.
Okay.
I know it looks a little weird on the agenda, a little confusing.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at the staff recommendation, which was denied, so it said.
Oh, okay.
It
But on
says-
your agenda, it does show
Okay.
requesting deferral, right? You have that
Okay,
agenda,
I'm
right?
going back to the agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Okay, so we're not gonna open up the public hearing, correct, Reginald? Because, okay. Okay, sir. Please say your name and your company.
Sure, Cassius Coleman, 5 Points Development. Live at 510 Stone Glen Chase, City of South Fulton.
Thank you.
Sure. We're requesting a deferral. Is that it? Can everyone hear?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
We're being impeded by GDOT, and we didn't find this out until later in the process, after the site plan had already been completed. There's a roundabout that's going to be constructed somewhere down the road. We engaged an attorney to find out what our rights were, and they said, look, you might want to go ahead and adhere to whatever that roundabout is going to impede upon the property. So therefore, we're really going to ask for a hardship for this, but we need to go back to the site plan, make some adjustments, because the parking and some other items are being affected.
Okay. Okay, Commissioner, so we have a request for a deferral for case Z25007.
I make a motion that we defer case Z25007.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Madam Chair, can we clarify how long he wants a deferral for?
Sure.
We've already started with a new site plan, so 30 days should be sufficient.
Okay.
Want to change that motion?
Yeah, I think we need to clarify that.
All right. I make a motion that
Oh,
we.
I'm sorry. We are going to ask for variances because of the hardship. We need to update the application with those variances at that time.
I'll defer to staff for that.
You will need to update the application. The next planning commission meeting is June the 18th, and I believe we should be able to accommodate that. So if we could just defer the case to June the 18th, I think that would be fine.
I make a motion to defer case Z25-007 to the June 18th
Okay.
commission meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, we need a second.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All the, okay, all those opposed say nay. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, it looks like we have 2 more deferrals to go through here. 1. 1, 2, 3. I have 4 deferrals on mine. I have 4 deferrals total. So, one of them, let's see. Let's see what this is. Oh no, this one's not deferrals. It did not. Okay, never mind. 3. Okay. So the next deferral we have is for case Z25-010/U25-003/CDP 25-005. Is the applicant here?
Yes, we have a speaker card for Jim Hamilton.
Okay, thank you. How are you?
Great, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
I'm honored to be here. I am Jim Hamilton, I'm with Kimley Horn, and I represent the owner of this property on Roosevelt Highway. We are requesting a deferral, and the reason there's 2 parts to this. One is zoning, the other is to get an amendment to the land use plan, comp plan. And we discovered, working with the staff, and really appreciate the staff's help in this regard, we have submitted an amendment, got that in the last week or so, and we would like to spend some time with the staff to make sure we got our ducks in a row, which we think we do. We've had 2 public participation meetings. We just had one the other night, and we had one a couple of weeks ago. There's no opposition that we know of. We've been answering all the questions, and I know you have a full agenda, and I'll just stop at that point and be ready to go through the details and the merits of our zoning on June 18th. That's what we request. So,
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Jim.
thank you.
Okay, Commissioner, so we have another deferral request for case Z25-010/U25-003/CDP 25-005. Do I have a motion for a deferral?
So moved.
Oh, okay, thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, the deferral has been granted. Thank you.
See you in June. Thank
See
you
you in
very
June. Okay, so now we are going to go back up on our agenda a little bit. Okay. And I think we're going to get to yep. Okay. So now we are going to move into case Z25-001/U25-002, a public hearing, an application by Randy Pimsler requesting a rezoning from mixed-use district to general commercial district, zoning with a special use permit to allow for a self-storage multi-facility on the site at 0 Riverside Drive. This property is in Fulton Industrial Business Overlay District in City Council District 1. At this time, I'd like to ask staff to present the staff report.
Thank you. This is a request to rezone from the MIX Mixed Use Zoning District to the C2 General Commercial Zoning District. This is in the Fulton Industrial Boulevard Overlay District. This is also a request for a special use permit to allow for a self-storage multi-facility on the site. Self-storage multi basically means that there are multiple stories of self-storage in the building as opposed to a single story self-storage facility. This case was advertised on March the 18th, 2025, for this hearing. This is his first time appearing. We have 3 speaker cards signed up for this hearing. Staff's recommendation is denial.
Thank you, Reginald. Is the applicant present?
Yes,
Okay. Thank you so much. How are you today?
doing great.
Good. You'll have 10 minutes to speak to present your case, and please state your name and company or address for the record.
Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Randy Pimsler, Haas Architects. We're located at 455 Glen Irish Drive in Atlanta, and appreciate the opportunity to speak about this project this evening. There are 2 representatives joining me this evening from Barefoot Land, the developer, Brady McDonald and Mason Newberry. They'll address concerns about the storage facility itself. The proposed development, could we go to the site plan, please? Thank you. Great. The proposed development is at the southeast corner of, or the intersection of Fulton Industrial and Riverside Drive. There's a multifamily development behind the property off of Riverside Drive. And the proposal is to utilize the 9 acres of land for a small portion of it, about a quarter of the land, for the multi-story storage facility, and then the remaining 3 structures and parking are for mixed-use development, retail or restaurant utilization on the site. We've satisfied all the zoning regulations in that regard, and the project does comply with the comprehensive development plan. Could you go to the renderings, please, Ms. Eccles? Anyway, the buildings are proposed to be modern in their presentation, and we've tried to. Thank you so much. We've tried to follow the the process here very diligently. It's a great outline that the city has prepared. At the community zoning information meeting, there was no opposition to our proposal, and then we held a public participation meeting. We received 1 phone call, before that meeting. The gentleman that called didn't attend the meeting, but we were there on the property, and we answered his question. He just wanted some minor clarifications. And then at Councilperson Rao's request, we met twice with the Sandtown community, and the first time there was opposition to the storage facility, but also we had a proposed residential component group of townhomes on the property, and the community was pretty outspoken about the proposed uses. So we went back and modified the site plan. We listened. The neighbors suggested that retail offerings, some restaurants, things that would support, uses that would support the neighborhood would be more appropriate. And we modified the site plan. We reduced the footprint of the storage facility. And again, it's about a quarter of the land being dedicated to that component, whereas the remaining mixed-use components are much larger portion of the site. Mr. McDonald will speak to the use and the need for the storage facility. We've reviewed the staff report, and as noted, the proposal complies with the comprehensive development plan, the zoning ordinance, and there's a very brief mention with regards to the staff report of the proposed uses, 3/4 of which they seem to be supportive of, and 1/4 apparently doesn't fit their perception of an appropriate use. I hope we can convince you otherwise this evening, but there's no real substantial rationale in the staff report that we saw for the denial. So we'd love to have dialogue with you this evening about the concerns that y'all might have. And we genuinely believe that the mixed-use development provides a group of uses that are supportive and complementary to the adjoining neighborhood. The Sandtown community isn't in this, it's in the district, but it's not directly adjacent to this proposed development. So we would like to ask for your support this evening. I look forward to answering any questions that y'all might have, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone here for this case, that's a proponent of the case?
So I'm Brady McDonald and with Barefoot Land Co.
Okay,
Do you want my address?
please.
4234 Northwest 10th Street, Cape Coral, Florida.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I just would like to speak on the use of storage because I think that is the biggest opposition. But first, I would like to point out the retail. So in the retail section in the restaurant, there's actually 20 retail pads. And so what we did is make the storage more of a minor component, but to give the community more of what it asked for. So, and they have to kind of go together for us to be able to develop this site. There's 20 retail pads there, obviously going to be able to serve the community in various different ways, depending on who actually utilizes that space, and then one large restaurant pad. And then we also strategically stuck the storage component because it has very low traffic rates on the furthest away from the access point, which would be which would be off of Riverside. And so we feel that with this combination of retail and restaurant, we're really going to be giving to the community versus, some of the perceived negatives of storage. And I'm happy to answer any of the questions you may have with the storage. But with regards to the storage, we have done a lot of market research and study with regards to the amount of storage in the market. And from all accounts and studies from a storage component, a self-storage market is 3 miles. Most users don't like to drive further than that, up to a maximum of 5 miles. And 10% of all Americans use self-storage. So that's a large amount, 1 out of every 10 homes. Obviously varying types of users, from businesses to people downsizing, transient people, etc. My family uses storage ourselves. And so in the 3 mile market, there is no self-storage in the market. In the 4 mile market, so 4 mile radius from the location, there is no self-storage. And I know at the Sandtown community, they objected some of those stats. I went back and researched it, provided them to Mrs. Dr. Roel, and verified all of the concerns that they had. And there is some storage in between the 4 and the 5 mile market. But in each one of these distances, there is room for 2, 3, and 3 of these self-storage facilities outside of the once we build this one. So there's excess demand in each one of these distances. And so we compare, how do we determine demand of storage? It's compared to the state average so it was 6.95 square feet per capita or per person. That's how you multiply that to the population in the market. It's actually just recently gone up to 8.23 square feet of storage demand per person in any market, in Georgia itself. So we feel there's an excess demand, and again, we're trying to make this work for the community and really bring in these other components, the retail pads and the restaurants, to really be the thing that we should be focusing on. So that's all I have, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. There's one more, right, Reggie?
We have 1 card against.
Oh, 1 card against. Okay. There's anyone who.
Ingram.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Malika Ingram.
Good evening. Yes, Dr. Malika Ingram here, representing both Districts 1 and District 2. In opposition of the proposed rezoning, in this case, Z25001/025-002, from mixed use to commercial. By rezoning, we are limiting the possibilities in our area, in our community, going from mixed use to commercial. By keeping it mixed use, this allows for a combination of residential, commercial, and other compatible uses within the same area or building. It promotes a walkable and integrated community. It benefits us by creating a more vibrant and efficient community, reducing a reliance on cars, fostering a social, interactive, and sense of community. It also increases economic opportunities and facilitates more efficient land use. Some examples of mixed-use communities that many of you may have heard of are the Avalon in Alpharetta, the Battery in Cobb County, and Trilith in Fayetteville. These all represent live, work, play communities that have a combination of residential, businesses, entertainment options for community members. C2, if we rezone, this typically designates an area general for commercial use, and I know that the gentleman that spoke before me said that they have some restaurant capabilities planned and businesses, but the opposition is to a storage unit in that area. We're not opposed to development of restaurants and places for entertainment for our citizens, but we are opposed to a storage unit in that location. There's a storage unit right down Camp Creek Parkway before you get to the Camp Creek Marketplace. So we have an opportunity here in hearings like this to plan and create a community that we envision that has a mixed-use component to it, that has restaurants and entertainment opportunities for us, not a city filled with warehouses, data centers, and storage units. That's my argument for tonight and my opposition of this development. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, and how much time, 8 minutes, how much time does the applicant have left? Okay. If the applicant wants to come back up, you have 1 minute and 33 seconds for rebuttal.
Thank you so much. Not so much to rebut, understand the position Dr. Ingram presented, but it's a little confusing and perhaps awkward to present an opposition that suggests residential when we presented residential as an applicant for the project initially, and we were specifically told by the community, and we feel like we listened, quite well, that residential would not be supported. So we pulled that out. We provided uses that were specifically identified in the meetings with Sandtown, and the other uses that were suggested are very large boxes that would not complement the retail or the restaurant in a manner that would fit on this site unless the storage was eliminated. As Mr. McDonald has suggested, if the storage is eliminated, the project is not able to move forward. The notion of being able to walk to the facilities is exactly why we oriented the site the way we did with the public amenities adjacent to the street. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. So commissioners, do we have any questions for the applicant or the staff regarding this application? Okay, Commissioner Perry, I recognize you.
I have a question for staff. So your objection states that the use, having two uses on the same lot violates the ordinance. Is it a technical violation that you're saying that the ordinance forbids that, or is it just your interpretation of what the ordinance tries to detail?
Yeah, thank you for that question. There's a couple of, I would call it technical. There's a couple of technical issues in how this particular development plan relates to our zoning ordinance. And I think it's a factor of going from mixed use to commercial zoning, but they're still trying to build what one would typically think of as a mixed-use development, just in a commercial zoning district, if it were rezoned to that, and so they would be trying to construct a mix of uses, and our zoning code only talks about having only one principal use per or one principal building on a lot. When we talk about mixed use, we interpret that differently because we understand that there are going to be a mix of uses that will go into one area. When we talk about commercial, we tend to look at that differently. And generally, we're not going to allow multiple commercial buildings on a single lot. So now that's not an issue that can't be overcome. They could split the lots or subdivide the lots prior to the development taking place if it were to be approved. I think the more pressing technical issue for us is the access off of Riverside Drive, which we interpret our code not to allow for the storage facility.
Is what they're proposing allowable under our mixed use designation?
Mixed use does not allow the self-storage.
I recognize you, Commissioner Jones.
Director McClendon, so if they, because you just quoted it, and actually it's the second to the last paragraph of the report, it says that if this proposal is approved, it is recommended that the site be subdivided. Would that be a condition? Would that be an acceptable condition, or are there
That would be an
glaring-
acceptable condition.
So nothing else glaring?
The access, I would say, would be glaring from Riverside Drive because our code prohibits access from a local street for a storage facility.
Thank you. Any other questions, commissioners, for the applicant or staff?
I got a question for the applicant.
Okay. Commissioner Perry. Okay.
So,
Okay. You come on up to the podium.
Great, thank you.
Go ahead, Commissioner Perry.
so I'm sure you heard the conversation. So
Of course.
with the self-storage being on the Riverside Drive side, and that being the issue of allowing access to a commercial property from that city street, is there any ideas that could bring it in accordance with what the director is saying?
Sure. We'd certainly be glad to. We had not received that comment until this afternoon when we received the report. That was the first time we saw staff report was today. We thought we would have the opportunity to review it at the end of last week. The access off of Fulton Industrial, I believe, could be achieved. There's quite a gully, for lack of a better word, between Fulton Industrial and this piece of property. It seemed to be a much safer means of ingress and egress. We aligned our curb cut with the Stowe Corporation, which is directly across Riverside Drive. So we thought there was a precedent for, there are large vehicles coming in and out of that property. This issue had never been identified prior to the staff report that was issued today to us. I'm sorry, could Mr. McDonald answer it a bit more fully, or? Sure. Great, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much. In earlier conversations with staff, they proposed that we put the access in that location up opposite to the drive on the other side. So that was one of the reasons. And just from a trip standpoint, so storage itself generates about 1.67 trips per 100 units. So this is going to be far less than any one of those retail locations as well. So it's just another consideration. Happy to look at, if it doesn't work for staff and transportation to have that access point, we're happy to look at putting it off of Fulton Industrial. It's just from a safety standpoint, this is what we were asked to do as well earlier.
I would just make a comment. I think I am aware that you guys have worked with the community and changed this several times, and so maybe just some more time to dot the i's and cross the t's, and maybe a deferral would be appropriate.
We'll leave that up to the pleasure of the body. Unless he wants to request it. So if he doesn't request it, then we'll have to vote on that, okay? Commissioners, are there any other questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take our first vote, which is on the findings of fact as presented by staff. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor of the findings of fact as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion carries. And now we're going to take our second vote, which is to approve, deny, or defer the application. Can I get a motion for our action on the application for case Z25-001/U25-002?
I move that the following case be deferred until our June 18th meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay, the motion carries. See you at the June meeting. Thank you.
Madam Chair, at that June meeting, will the board just be reconsidering its decision at that time as far as recommendation of approval or denial?
Yes,
All right.
and I'll make sure we'll clarify that next time.
All right. The staff will work with the applicant and update its staff report for June 18th.
Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to move forward to our next public hearing, which is case Z25-006, an application by Yucani Brothers, Inc., care of Garrett Christopher, requesting a rezoning from a medium-density apartment district to TR Townhouse Residential District to develop 50 single-family townhomes on 8.53 acres at various addresses. This property is in the Old National Highway Overlay District in City Council District 6. See, at this time, can I have staff to present the report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a request to go from the A medium density apartment district to the TR Townhouse Residential District. This is in the Old National Highway Overlay District. The request is to construct 50 townhomes. It is at 0 McGee Landing. This case was originally advertised in the South Fulton Neighbor on March the 25th, 2025. It was advertised for a public hearing on this date, April the 16th, 2025. Staff's recommendation is denial. There are 3 individuals signed up to speak on this case. Looks like 1 proponent and 2 opponents.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? If so, please, okay, how are you? Please come to the podium. Okay, so you'll have 10 minutes to present your case. If you can state your name, address, and company for the record, that'd be great.
Sure. My name is Garrett Christopher with Christopher Construction Corporation. Speaking to the mic for us. Sorry. I'm here representing the Connie Brothers. My address is 3480.
Push it up just, oh, it's not on, okay.
3480. There you go. Sorry, my name is Garrett Christopher with Christopher Construction. I'm here representing the Connie Brothers. My address is 3481 Lakeside Drive, Atlanta, Georgia. What we're proposing is a 50 townhome community. This is a resurrected community. Any of you that have been to Walmart, it's that dead space directly across the street from the light. It was originally called McGee Landing. It was designed for 55 and over apartments, single story. There's 29 of them. That has been dead since 2010. It's just been a vacant lot. What we did is I was brought in on behalf of the O'Connor Brothers to consult of what we could do with that property, reusing the existing infrastructure. It was a fully developed community. What I recommended to them, they followed, was to turn that into a 50-unit townhome community that was built to own, not built to rent. Being directly across from the business center, we wanted to give people and give the community people that were invested. in the community. People that could walk across the street, people that wanted those businesses to succeed because it's in their neighborhood. Our biggest target was what we saw as our marketing team saw, also what your recent ARC study dictated as well, which is our goal is to have these at under 300,000. They're between 1,650 and 1,800 square feet, two-car garage. We want those to be affordable homes. We've actually already set up mortgage lending as of today. We'll be able to, I'm not saying in the future, but we'll be able to 100% finance these with $12,500 towards closing. So we think this is just a great benefit to the community. And that's the end game. So what your staff's been wonderful about doing is I literally walked in and said, we have this community that was completed not under your jurisdiction. It was actually done under Fulton County. How can we bring it up to speed? So your staff's been fantastic in working with us through what we can and can't do. We did receive the report on Monday afternoon, and I don't disagree with the denial. Based on the information, if you read through, we actually meet all the key components to go from A to TR. What we do have is we do have some paperwork issues to work through. One of those is illustrating, we do have some infrastructure, we do have some sidewalks that are there. For the overlay district, we will have to add more, and we have no problem doing that. In fact, we already have started having the site plan revised. Even some of the infrastructure that we have at the entryway will have to be redone. For the overlay, we actually have to make it wider and use paving stones. So we're willing to add that on there, not a problem. Some of the other issue was with setbacks and whatnot. We will not be requesting any variances. Our layout does meet all of the terms. What we were wondering is if we're going to be able to do a zero lot line for each of them, because they are a townhome community, which based on the current codes, we won't be able to do that. So we have no problem going in, adding everything back. So really, it's a paperwork issue more than an issue as far as any code relation. So what I would request is that I request that you guys vote to accept it upon conditions of us updating that site plan for the staff. So I'll have on that.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Take
thank
a
you.
seat. Okay.
We have 2 cards against. Alvin Reynolds.
Good evening, I'm Alvin Reynolds, 585 Kings Place, Riverdale, Georgia. I reside in District 7, not far from this development here. Once again, we've seen that we're bringing in structures, again, that really is unprepared. You know, you come and these things should have been put in order before you even come to present to this body. We're talking about townhomes again, and you'll see all up and down the old National Corridor that we are moving toward townhomes all over, not in conjunction with what's there. This particular area, we prime property for some commercial development, is what we feel here in the community. And to like staff's recommendation again, we're not sure that you're not going to be asking for any variances. You're saying it, but until you start the process, we're not sure. You know, these things ought to be, or should have been ironed out before you even came here. So again, we're speaking in against this proposed development on the basis of that there are buffer requirements, improved setbacks and so forth, the frontage, the sidewalks, all of these things that, you know, we feel that when you are talking about developing a property, these things should be in order. You should know the overlay, all of these things should be known and researched and done beforehand. But to come now and say, yeah, we're, you know, we can do this, we can make concessions, you know, we've seen and heard this before. And those concessions have not been held. And that is a grave concern for us in this area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Michael Venable.
It's Michael Venable, 5720 Montelli Circle, District 6. It's disturbing that every single solitary time a residential development is proposed along the old National Corridor, everybody thinks it has to be starter and cheap. I've never seen anybody talk about diversity and never mention any move-up homes. You know, it's happened all in our comprehensive plan update. Go to the website and look at the survey they sent out. The only option they're giving you are peeps and jelly beans. You will never see the full chocolate bunny solid. You don't see the sweet tart eggs. You don't see the Canterbury with the caramel inside of it. It's almost like you've destined, okay, I'm going to put all the poor people, all the cheap things, I'm going to stick them in one area of the city. So I create a pocket of poverty. And then the rest of the city, I'm going to have that where you have an area of exclusivity. When we talk about diversity, we never look at the issue of status. If I want my economic development to come forth, I need a different demographic to move into this community. I am continuing to get the exact same thing over and over and over again. This card is going to look the same as it did a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Look at this one. There's even no picture of what the unit's going to look like. You got some brick facades. We're talking about sidewalks on them. Are the setbacks going to be staggered? What are the right-of-ways of the street? Is the fire engine going to be able to get in there? We're not talking about quality of life things. You for our property, and we say, okay, I just need to get something to do it, so let me get the cheapest way out to run through it and slap it in there, and then, okay, lolly-da, see you later. We didn't even mention about any amenities. Where's the clubhouse? Okay, may not be big enough for a pool, but you can have a computer room, maybe a small area in the gym. No building was set up for that. We're looking for something to have a variety of residents, and this is not doing it. This will be one of the first areas that someone will say, okay, God, I'll just get this, I'll rent it out, and I'll move to the other side of the city and just get some money from that one. We've got to wake up, people. You cannot allow this to happen to where we have no foresight and no fortune of making every area in this city viable. Not dependent on anybody else, but every area should be viable on its own. I think this should be denied. It was not well thought out. There are things here that you don't even see the picture of what they look like. We don't address any of the things that would make that amenable to an upcoming professional or any solid family people that come in. We're just one price point picking, and that's what we're looking at. Starter home is right now about $300,000. So in other words, we're going to try to build sub-starter homes. Would never put that anywhere else in the city except you look over here where we are in the old National Corridor. This is dead wrong. If you're going to be looking to help this city on the rise, let's put our name and our votes to it and make sure that happens. This needs to be denied.
Thank you, sir.
We have no more comment cards.
Thank you. How many minutes does the applicant have for rebuttal?
5 minutes and 59 seconds.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, if you want to come back up, 5 minutes and 59 seconds you have.
I actually thank you guys
Thank you.
for what you just said. You're not wrong. You're 100% right. Because we had the same questions when we developed how far, what can we put in? But unfortunately, we are up against a brick wall in several aspects. One is our marketing team did research, and 325 is about the max we'll be able to get for these out of that area. At the same time, the city did a study, and they found 300 was the highest mark we could have. So there is a fear factor, because yes, I would love to put, I love a diverse neighborhood. I love new and fresh things. I love big houses, small houses, medium houses. I love them for all. The biggest fear, though, is if you have 2 data points that say, here's your max, which would be worse, more starter homes, or what is there now, which is a bankrupt community? And that's the risk you have by going too high. And that's the fear. That's unfortunate, but that's the fear that's out there. It's something this city would rather have people living in houses, contributing to the community, instead of a bankrupt community. And I wish I could tell you differently. That's one of the reasons we don't have any big amenities in there. It's to try to meet that price point that most of the city officials I've met are guiding us towards. So in an effort to get it done, that's where we went. So, but I do agree with you. It seems very narrow, but unfortunately numbers do support that. But thank you again for speaking up.
Thank you. Okay, so commissioners, do we have any questions for the applicant or staff regarding this application? Okay. I do have a question. You can go back to the podium. Thank you. I'm reviewing the staff report, and it just seems like you're missing several items.
Mm-hmm.
And it says your site plan is missing the side and rear setbacks, right? Side and rear
Mm-hmm.
setbacks, which is a problem. It sounds like you have some more work to do before. I mean, it just doesn't sound like you're ready to move forward with this. It just seems like you're missing some things off of your plan. Can you speak to that, of why the setbacks are left off the plan?
Oh, absolutely, because when we originally put it in, our goal is to have basically everything outside the envelope of the building owned by the community and maintained by the community. Obviously, we just found out 2 days ago that we weren't going to be able to do that. Not a problem. We're actually set up for if that didn't go through, because your city does require 20 in the back, 40 in the front, for all of them, 0 lot line left to right, not 0 lot line front to back. We were hoping that, again, the way it was originally planned out, we would match that, but 2 different jurisdictions. But we did lay it out for the buffers. Nothing is within 40 feet of the perimeter, so we check all the boxes. We just haven't provided that because we don't want to put ourselves in a pigeonhole if we didn't have to.
So you're saying that the buffers are shown on there?
No, they are not shown on there.
Okay, they're not shown.
Yeah, because originally it was the envelope of the building itself was all that the property was going to be.
Okay. Reginald, quick question. You can stay at the podium for a second.
Stay.
As far as, I know in the staff report, they're missing several items that's missing off the site plan. Is that a requirement that they need to have that on there?
Those are site plan requirements.
Okay. Okay. Commissioners, you have any other questions for the staff or the applicant?
I do have a question.
Okay, I recognize you, Commissioner Devon.
I am concerned about the description of the neighborhood in which you want to build. Coming into formulating this plan, a bankrupt community, and then I guess the individuals that you consulted with in the survey that you conducted concluded that those results, those findings, and that the only possibility would be substandard. You did explain that, but I'm just concerned that you want to invest in a community of that nature.
Well,
and then plus you come in with quite a few things missing, so I do want you to revisit that.
Absolutely. I guess there may have been some misconception of what I said, which was McGee Landing went bankrupt back in 2011. And that's what I meant by a bankrupt community, not District 6. I hope I didn't get misconstrued anyway. But McGee Landing had started out and nothing moved. It fell. And that's how the Ucani brothers were able to buy it. But as far as the study, if you're asking the question, that's actually that's actually done by the city. The city did an ARC study, and those were their findings, not mine. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are there any other questions for the applicant or staff? Commissioners? Okay. You can take a seat. Thank you, sir. Seeing no further questions or comments, I now close the public hearing for this case. And the first vote is going to be the findings of fact. So we are going to take our first vote, which is on the findings of fact as presented by staff. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay. May I have a second, please? Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay. The motion carries. So now we're going to take our second vote, which is to approve, deny, or defer the application. Can I get a motion for action on the application for case Z25-006, an application by Ucani Brothers in care of Garrett Christopher, requesting a rezoning from A, medium density apartment district, to TR, townhouse residential district, to develop 50 single-family townhomes on 8.53 acres on the old National Highway Overlay District in the city of South Fulton, Council District 6. Do you have a motion?
I make a motion to deny.
Okay, we have a second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of denying case Z25-006, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion carries. Okay, we are now moving on to our next public hearing. And that is going to be, looks like we're going here to the back. Okay. Yep, Z25. Okay, so our next public hearing is going to be for case Z25-011/ZDP 25-006, an application by Templar Development Group in care of Battle Law requesting a rezoning from C1 Limited Commercial District to TR Townhouse Residential District in the Old National Highway Overlay District to develop 121 townhomes on 14.1 acres at 0 and 7210 Old National Highway. The applicant is seeking a rezoning from C1 to TR and a future land use amendment from Regional Live Work to Suburban Neighborhood 2. These properties are in City Council District 7. At this time, can staff present the staff report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is case Z25-011, along with a request to amend the city's comprehensive development plan. That's CDP 25-006. This is a request to go from the C1 Limited Commercial District to the TR Townhouse Residential District. This is in the Old National Overlay District. The CDP request is to go from the Regional Live Work character area to the Suburban Neighborhood 2 character area. This is for the purpose of constructing 107 townhomes on 13.4 acres. This is in Council District 7. This is the first time this case has been on for a public hearing. It was originally advertised in the South Fulton Neighbor on March the 25th, 2025 for 2 days hearing on April 16th, 2025. There appears to be 4 individuals signed up to speak on this case, including the applicant. I believe that's 1 person in favor, 3 people against.
Jay Knight.
Oh, we might have more than 1. It looks like we have somebody who didn't fill out a comment card.
I didn't realize I forgot to give you my card. I apologize. It's Michelle Battle with Battle Law. I'm representing the applicant. Jay is my client.
Okay. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Okay. We have a PowerPoint. And I don't know if I have the clicker. Or if you all will click and I will point. I'm not sure which one. How's it go? Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say the staff's recommendation is denial.
Thank you.
As indicated by staff, we are here. Did I get my full 10 minutes back? I need every second. Okay. Hi, Michelle Battle with Battle Law, 3562 Habersham at Northlake, Tucker, Georgia, 30084. If we can go to the next slide. Staff has already indicated that we are located off of Old National Highway. We are north of Old National and Jonesboro Road, on the other side of the Prince Hall Grand location. If we can go to the next slide. This area has a land use designation of regional live work, and we are asking for it to be downgraded to suburban 2 neighborhood, which is the predominant use land use designation within the area. We go to the next slide. The property currently is zoned C1. Next. This is our proposed site plan, and I think can we go to the next slide? Because I could have sworn no, you must have skipped us. We had to skip a slide. No, my goodness. One more? One more? Oh, my goodness. Okay, so we are working with the adjacent church, Greater Victory, that has come before this body in order to obtain a rezoning, or not a rezoning, a use permit with regards to the development of a place of worship on their property. And within the, if we can go back a slide or two, I apologize. It looks like what I sent you was not exactly what I was thinking I had there. But what we know is that the place of worship was actually seeking to develop this site not only for the place of worship, but they wanted to sell off a component of this in order to have sufficient funds to actually build a place of worship. And when we initially approached this, we really thought about doing this as a mixed use because they really are trying to incorporate not only the place of worship, but to have people live within walking distance of the place of worship. Many of their members have an interest of moving into this community, and so they thought it would be a great idea to be able to kind of combine this residential use with the place of worship. When we looked at doing the mixed use designation, however, what we realized was that it did not provide, it required 2 separate non-residential uses. So the church alone would not qualify it along with the residential component as being mixed use. We would have to basically kind of concoct a secondary non-residential use in order for them to qualify as a mixed use designation. We looked at things like a daycare facility, things of that nature, but they still fell within kind of an institutional use. And so as a result, what we opted to do was simply seek a rezoning of just the parcel that would be used for the residential component of this project, and to downgrade it from the land use designation of regional live work to suburban neighborhood 2. We know that regional live work anticipates a much higher density, which means that it was really contemplated for some type of multifamily type product. But what we want to bring into this space and what the church wants to bring into this space are opportunities for people to live and have a fee simple home as opposed to having a multifamily rental product. If we can go to the next slide. And I'm going to forward us again. This is the proposed site. This is the proposed site plan. We are abiding by all of the setback requirements. The property sets off 40 feet from Old National, where we will have landscaping along the frontages. As we move into the project, there will be additional parking spaces for the community. As we continue to move into the site, there will also be detention facilities. We are abiding by the rear setback adjacent to the residential community on the opposite side. What we know is that there's a 40-foot requirement there plus a 10-foot setback, and we are abiding by that as well. We also have all of the landscape strip around the perimeter of the site. So we believe that we have met all the conditions with regards to the requirements under the TR zoning district. We can move to the next slide. This shows the rear where we are compliant with the 40-foot rear setback buffer related area and the 10-foot improvement setback. We can go to the next slide. And this gives you some idea of what it is that we are looking to develop. Templar has been in business really recently formed, but Jay Knight and his brothers ran, or his cousin ran Knight Development, and they have been developers for over 30 years. Jay is here with us this evening. They are looking to build a quality development. They are not a big REIT or any a larger type developer. They are a local developer. They have properties throughout the metro Atlanta area, particularly on the southern side, because they are from this area. They're from actually from Riverdale, and so they take great pride in building quality product within this region. If we can go to the next slide. You can see kind of the type of quality that they're looking to build, the filtration along Old National with the entrance into the space. We can go to the next slide. This gives you some idea. They're looking at fronts that have primarily brick with board and batten, as well as some hardy plank on the sides in order to give a different texture and feel as you're moving into the community. They all have 2-car garages with 2 parking spaces in the front, and we anticipate these units selling in the low 300s to mid 300s would be the starting prices, price points on here, and we are accepting of any type of rental restriction that would be placed on the units. We can go to the next slide. This just shows kind of the mail kiosk area as you're moving in. You can see we've got decorative lighting as you're moving through the community. There's sidewalks through the community, green space through the community. If we can keep going to the next slide. This gives you another kind of look on the back side of the property, more like the lights are dimmer, but you can see they're using more decorative garages. That's something that you don't see some of the other builders doing with the glass in the garage doors, just for a much nicer look. We can go to the next slide. That's actually more of, there's not a pond, and so we apologize for it looking like a pond, but that's actually the area where the detention would be. And we go to the next slide. And this is a video, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to play that. Great. And this just gives you, again, another feel for moving through this community. This would be the front entrance with decorative monument signs as we're moving through. This just gives you a feel, again, for the interior of the project. Once again, from the perspective of the units themselves, these will be 24-foot wide units. And there will be 3 to 4 bedroom, depending upon what the individual would like. They anticipate these being very attractive to not only young people who are moving into the community that may have a desire to live within this corridor during its resurgence, but also those who may be, I think they said most of the folks, a lot of the folks who come into this space are single women 45 years and older who are often looking for lower maintenance type costs in order to live within the space, but still want a quality home to live in. And so with that, again, we would respectfully request approval or recommendation of approval, and we do have Mr. Knight here who is also available to answer any questions that you all may have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll save the rest of my time.
Thanks.
The last comment card for was for Jay. We have 3 in opposition. Tia Hudson.
Thank you. Hi, excuse me, I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Tracy Hudson, and I live at 4379 Alashiba, but I grew up outside of the Old National Quarters. Now, I don't speak as well as those brothers over there, so I had to kind of write down what I really want to share. But as a resident and a stakeholder in the South Fulton community, I respectfully oppose the proposed townhome development and any associated zoning changes on Old National Highway. My opposition is based on, and I'm just going to give two of my found concerns. Number one is incompatible with existing land use and vision. Old National Highway is a major, I'm going to say that again, it is a major commercial corridor and gateway to South Fulton. The proposed high-density residential use is inconsistent with the area's existing zoning and long-term land plans, which prioritizes commercial, cultural, and mixed-use development to stimulate economic growth and community engagement. I can't say it the way that gentleman in the sweater said it, but again, we do have to consider, what do we want Old National to look like 10 years from now? We definitely don't want another Camelot, okay? I'll just stop right there. Loss of economic development potential. This corridor represents a prime opportunity for commercial revitalization, not residential saturation. I'm going to say it again. This corridor represents a prime opportunity for commercial revitalization, not residential saturation. Townhouse developments would displace potential retail, office space, dining, and entertainment venues that could bring jobs, tax revenue, and improve services to our community. I urge South Fulton to reject the proposed townhouse development and any zone changes that enable it on Old National Highway. Uphold the current land plan, focus on commercial revitalization and responsible growth. I'm going to say that again. Uphold the current land plan and use. Focus on commercial revitalization and responsible growth. Engage in more inclusive planning process that reflects the voices and the vision of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. We have two more?
Yes, we have Alvin Reynolds and Michael Venable.
Okay. And you guys have 6 minutes and 50 seconds, so I don't know how you guys are going to split the time, but maybe you want to give a little bit of time to Alvin for the other person.
Okay, Alvin Reynolds, once again, 585 Kings Place, Riverdale, Georgia, District 7. Spoken very well. As you will hear and have heard, that this area is often equated with density. Density, density, density. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe, proposed. 2 of them have already been voted on and approved. Townhome developments on the Old National Corridor down in this area. Increasing traffic. This particular development here, it's gonna be difficult for them to come out of that development and make a left going toward 138. That is a dangerous section of Old National. Very dangerous. My wife totaled her vehicle there in that same area. There was a death in that same area where we're proposing, where this proposed development is. No amenities, none at all. Too small to have them, as they say. Too many townhome developments in this area. Increase of traffic. It doesn't make sense. This is what really struck me. I was at the meeting earlier, and it seems as though this development is hinged on what the church does. The church can't build if they don't sell that portion of land. We shouldn't be doing that. I'm not against churches being built. I'm a good Christian man myself. Love to go to church. But when you start saying things like this development's not going to happen unless it's sold and the zoning is changed, and then the church can be built, which the church is going to build and have a playground component which will support the community, that lets you know that this development doesn't have a park, walking trail, nothing, or whatever. It's not big enough. But again, like the young lady stated, commercial development is what we've been talking about for years. You want to change the dynamic of this area, and for some reason, it seems like we don't want to change. We want to continue to say that this is what the community wants. You go to the comprehensive plan rewrite meetings, we're telling you what we want, but you come back and give us what we don't. But if you continue to put these types of development in, where are you going to put the commercial component? You won't have room for it. You're not going to have any land for any type of commercial component unless you're going to put up another nail salon, barbershop, things of that nature, because that's what you're making room for. We're better than that. We want more than that. And you'll hear this statement once again when we go before council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have one more.
Michael Venable.
It's Michael Venable, 5720 Montelli Circle. I'm going to give praise to staff because now they have addressed something that we've been talking about for the last 2-3 years. There is a land use plan that's set. Every other meeting, there is a proposal to change the land use plan to make something fit. That is not the way government works. I've kind of been around a little bit. Most of all the cities in South Fulton, several of the ones in North, because I work up that way, and you come in as a commercial industry type person in their meetings for that. I've never seen any municipality whatsoever change land use plan as frequently as the South Fulton government does. It happens every other meeting. Go back and look at your notes. This is not how you run the government. We are wasting our money paying somebody to do a land use plan if all we're going to do is, okay, I want this here, change land use plan and run forward. Old National is a hodgepodge. They have changed so many things so many times that there's not a consistent row on that corridor whatsoever. Staff said it right. You need to follow the plan, or you wait till the plan is changed. And I'm going to stand back for what my other residents have said. You cannot let an entity, i.e. the church, dictate what should have been happening here. Regardless of how you know them or what friends you have for them, that's not how government works either. If you look at this plan and people talked about traffic, there's just several things that come about that should be taken care of. There are no amenities. There was no talk of it, so yeah, we just want whatever comes and not getting someone to stay like we need. There's no berm on Old National Highway. That absorbs the sound from the racing and the cars coming through. You're already close to the road. Let's do some protection over here like other developments have done. Like I said, we're running out of the time here, but the issue is we should not just be randomly changing land use plans to make something fit because we want to like somebody. This is not how the government is supposed to work. This is not how we should be a city on the rise. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Battle, you have I think a minute and 2 seconds, and it was really like a minute and 5 seconds, but okay. Thank you, Victoria. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Battle.
Number one, the amenity area will be located on the church's property. It will be a shared space. We are looking at putting together a playground area that may also be open to the general public. With regards to Old National, we did meet with GDOT, and they indicated what modifications we will need to make in order to make it safely accessible. And we do believe that the church's importance on this corridor, again, we could have gone for mixed use and not changed the land use plan, but we also wanted to make sure that we were compliant with the zoning code. If it comes to it that we have to come up with some way to add an additional use, that is something we certainly are, open to, but we'll have to figure out with staff what that realistically could be based on the footprint that the church currently has. We don't think that it should be dependent one upon another, yet at the same time, we know that the church is trying to utilize the funds that it will have from this sale in order to furbish the church itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, commissioners, do we have any questions for the applicant or staff? Okay, seeing no further questions or comments, I now close the public hearing for this case. And now we're going to take our first vote, which is on the findings of fact as presented by staff. Can I get a motion?
Moved. Second.
Okay. That's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, the motion carries. So now we are going to take our second vote, and this is to approve, deny, or defer the application. Can I get a motion for action on the application KZ 25?
Madam Chair, let's take two separate votes on the zoning case and the land use change application.
You're right. Okay. Okay, so we're going to take two votes. So our first vote is going to be on the rezoning from C1 to TR. Can I get a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to motion that we deny the changing of the land use map.
Okay, we have a motion for denial. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, the motion carries. And then we're going to do a second, we're going to actually do a third vote, I'm sorry, for the future land use amendment from regional live work to suburban neighborhood 2. All those in, I'm sorry. Yes.
She said change the land use map, so I think that she just did.
She did that part.
Yeah, I think she just did the future land use vote.
Oh, okay. So my question was for the rezoning, so we need to redo that because that was what I threw out. Okay. Yep. What was your motion for? What was your motion for the land use map or the rezoning? Just want to clarify.
For the changing of the land use map to rezone from C1 to TR, Townhouse Residential District for Old National.
Okay, so Reggie, I think we need to redo it because my initial question was for the motion on the actual rezoning and not the land use map. Okay? Okay, so we're going to redo that motion. We're going to start with the rezoning. So can I get a motion for rezoning of application Z25-011 I'm sorry, that's two applications. For case Z25-001, rezoning from C1 to TR.
So moved.
Okay. Can I get a second?
What was moved?
So we're asking right now for a motion to approve or deny the
No, but they
rezoning.
just said so moved. They gotta say the action.
Okay. So we just want you to clarify what are you actually saying. So because the question is that you're
I
correct.
think it's a confusion.
So-
Can you clarify the difference between what we're actually approving or denying?
So right now, we're approving or denying the rezoning. So right now, I just need a motion on the floor. I just need a motion to state if we're approving or denying the rezoning from C1 to TR. Yes, because the initial thing that when you did your motion initially, you did it for the land use map and not the rezoning.
So I'll make a motion to deny the rezoning from C1, limited commercial on Old National Highway, to TR, Townhouse Residential District, Old National Highway Overlay District.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The motion carries. And this has been denied. The rezoning has been denied from C1 to TR. And then we're going to do a third vote, which is going to be for the actual future land use amendment from regional live work to suburban neighborhood 2. Do I have a motion on the floor for a future land use amendment from regional live work to suburban neighborhood 2 for case ZDP 25-006?
I move that we deny the amendment from regional lead work to suburban neighborhood 2.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, the motion carries, and the future land use amendment from regional live work to suburban neighborhood 2 has been recommended as denial. Thank you. Okay, we have a couple more cases left. Commissioners, are you okay? We need a break? 5-minute break, or we good? You wanna roll through it? Oh, you wanna press? Okay. 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 We'll proceed forward once we clear the room a little bit.
I need to stop complaining. Yeah.
Okay. Now we are moving, we have 2 more cases left and we are almost out of here. So let's rock and roll. So our next public hearing is going to be for case Z25-012. It's an application by Dillard Sellers requesting a rezoning from mixed use district to C1 limited commercial district in the South Fulton Overlay District to construct a bank on 1.01 acres at 5290 Campbellton Fairburn Road. This property is in the South Fulton Parkway Overlay in the City of South Fulton, Council District 3. At this time, I'd like to ask staff to present the staff report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is case C25-012, 5290 Campbellton Fairburn Road. This is a request to rezone from mixed use to C1 limited commercial. This is in the South Fulton Parkway Overlay District. The request is for the purpose of constructing a bank on 1.01 acres. This is in Council District 3. This is the first time that this case has appeared before you. It was advertised in the South Fulton neighborhood on March the 25th of 2025 for the public hearing to be held on this date. I believe we only have 1 card for public comment. Staff's recommendation is approval.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Yes. Okay. Okay, you will have 10 minutes to present your case. Can you please state your name, company, and address?
Yes. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Ashley Vanderland. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Fifth Third Bank. Address is 1776 Peachtree Street. I'm joined this evening by Julie Sellers and by Jeff Wagner, Vice President and Regional Director for Fifth Third. We are happy to be here and available to answer any questions you may have. So we are here this evening asking for your recommendation of approval for a rezoning for the development of a Fifth Third Bank branch in the city of South Fulton. So Fifth Third Bank is a leader in the banking industry. It's been around since 1858. In 1948, actually, they became the first financial institution in the United States to create a charitable foundation. And ever since then, they've been partnering with the communities that they live in. They have several community programs that offers a vast, a variety of topics. One thing that they're focused on is financial empowerment. Fifth Third has several branches in Georgia, but none in the city of South Fulton, so they're excited about this application. So this application to rezone the property at 5290 Campbellton Fairburn Road is to rezone from MIX to C1. So the existing zoning for MIX does allow the financial institution use. However, there are some outdated conditions that prevent the proposed development of the property. Can you please go to the next slide? Thank you so much. The property is, so we're asking to rezone for that reason with respect to the conditions. The property is located in the South Fulton Parkway overlay. That will remain unchanged. The proposed rezoning to C1 is consistent with the future land use map. The future land use designation is community live work, and C1 is considered an appropriate district in that character area. The applicant's proposal complies with the development standards for both C1 and also the overlay, so the applicant is not requesting any variances this evening. As you can see, the location is the last vacant parcel in that stretch of commercial parcels between Thompson Road and Hall Road. So in that stretch, you've got the Chick-fil-A. This aerial was clearly taken before that Chick-fil-A was built out, but that Chick-fil-A, and then there's a Waffle House, and then this 1 acre parcel that's just empty, and then Advanced Auto Parts, gas station, fast food restaurant. All those uses are complementary to, or the bank use is complementary to those uses. It fits right there. So it makes sense for this, and it's appropriate for this one to go on that parcel. Let's go to the next slide, please. So this is facing the parcel from Campbellton to Fairburn Road. You can see there's already a curb cut leading up to the property. There are no plans to add another curb cut. This will, of course, be ingress and egress to the property. In the alternative to exiting and entering this way, customers can also leave through the rear. There's that access road that runs perpendicular to the property. So they can make left turns onto Campbellton Fairburn Road using the stoplight at Thompson or Hall Road. And you can also see there's an existing sidewalk on Campbellton Fairburn Road. Fifth Third intends to include a pathway to connect that sidewalk up to the property. So working on ingress and egress for pedestrians as well as customers coming in via car. Next slide, please. There will be a drive-through featured in the building. It will be around to the back of the building. The drive-through itself will have material that matches the building, and the drive-through itself will have just a small canopy. Next slide, please. This is a site plan. You can see there are several parking spaces. There will be 13 parking spaces, which exceeds the requirement for a building of this size. This makes it easy for customers to park and come inside should they so choose. Of course, they have the option for drive-through. The building itself is just a one-story, 1,900 square foot building. Next slide, please. And I think the best way to describe this new bank branch is contemporary, it's fresh, and it really meets the needs of bank customers today. It really offers a place to meet with each other, with stakeholders, with their bankers, one-on-one to facilitate building those relationships. Next slide, please. So in addition to having that meeting space so customers can meet with their bankers, they also have space so they can linger after their meetings and come early. There'll be Wi-Fi, coffee offered, a library of resources, and an up-to-date electronic message board, all of which will have messaging that's relevant to the customers. Next slide, please. So that's That is my presentation this evening. I request that you please send forth a recommendation for approval. We're happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much for your time this evening, and I'll reserve any remaining time for rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Do we have any opponents or opposers?
No, we only had one card, which was the applicant.
Okay. Thank you so much. So at this time, I would like to see if the commissioners have any questions for the staff or for the applicant. Looks like we're good. Okay. So I will close the public hearing at this time. Seeing no further questions or comments, we're going to take our first vote, which is on the findings of fact as presented by staff. Okay, can I get a motion?
Let's move.
Okay, a second, please. Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, the motion carries. Now we're going to take our second vote, and this is to approve, deny, or defer the application. Can I get a motion for action on application Z25-012?
I make a motion.
Give me 1 second. Yeah, we're almost there though. To rezone from MIX, which is mixed use district, to C1 limited commercial district in the South Fulton Parkway overlay district to construct a bank on 1.01 acres at 5290 Campbellton Fairburn Road.
I make a motion to approve Z25-012.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, the motion carries. And this application has been approved. Recommend for approval. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. And we are on our last case. Woo. Okay, we're almost out of here, y'all. We're going to move into KZ25004, public hearing and application by Resurgence Consulting LLC, requesting a rezoning from CUP Community Unit Plan District to TR Townhouse Residential District in the Cliftondale Overlay District to develop 44 townhomes on 16.53 acres at 0 Shamrock Drive. This property is in City Council District 3. At this time, can staff present the staff report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I do that, is any representative of this case present?
On what side?
On the applicant side. Madam Chair, we've been in contact with this applicant and their attorney. I'm not quite sure why they're not here tonight. They were at the CZIM meeting. There may have been some miscommunication. It doesn't appear that they are here. It does appear that there is a large contingency of people here on this matter. We do have 2 people signed up to speak against. This is the first time that this case has been on your calendar. So I will call the case and I will allow you all to decide how you want to move forward. This is case Z25004. As well as request CDP 25-007. This is a request to rezone from CUP Community Unit Plan to TR Townhouse Residential District. This is in the Cliftondale Overlay District, and the request is for the development of 44 townhomes. The applicant is also seeking a change from in the future land use from suburban neighborhood to suburban 2 neighborhood. This is in Council District 3. Staff's recommendation is denial. This is the first time this case has come before this board. It was advertised in the South Fulton Neighbor on March the 18th, 2025 for a public hearing on this date. I will state that this case was previously advertised as a modification. Staff reviewed that request and decided that it would be better, that it was more appropriate to process this request as a rezoning instead of a modification based on what they were asking. So we put it back through the cycle as a rezoning request instead of a modification request. And the applicant also requested a land use change at that time, which is what brings us here today. did have a CDIM, which stands for Community Zoning Information Meeting on March the 17th, 2025. And they do not appear to be here today.
Okay, thank you. So the public hearing is now open, so if we still want to go ahead and let those folks in opposition come up.
Or we could, or you all could discuss deferral. It's up to you.
I mean, I think at this point, since the public hearing is open, I think we need to go ahead and hear those that are in opposition, and we can figure out the approval, denial, or deferral after the public hearing is closed. Okay, can we have the first person in opposition?
We have Dr. Harris.
Quick point of order. If we deferred it, since public hearing has been open, if we defer it and after this, we can't then have a public hearing the next time, right?
No, you will have already had your public hearing.
So I think what he's asking us to do is if we're going to defer it, if that's going to be something we do, we shouldn't have the public hearing because it prevents us from having a public hearing when they are here.
Wait a minute, isn't that unfair to the residents since we're present?
I'm not saying we're going to defer it. I'm just saying if that's what we plan to do, we shouldn't have a public hearing.
This is time for the board to deliberate, so I would ask that the audience please refrain from addressing them.
Okay, thank you, Reggie. So, and I'm gonna ask you a question, Reggie. So we've already opened the public hearing. The public hearing is open. The applicant did not let you know that they weren't coming, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Is staff asking for a deferral on behalf of the applicant?
No.
Thank you. And we would need a motion. I mean, we haven't had a public hearing, so we can't just close it without.
Point of order. The question, Madam Chair. Director McClendon stated that there could have been a mix-up in communication. Can he please explain that?
I just say that because we've been in communication with them. So, and they were here.
Been non-responsive?
No, they've been responsive. We've been in constant communication with them. They've been very responsive. They were here last month for their CDIM meeting. This applicant is represented by an attorney. Their attorney has been responsive. From my understanding, they've had community meetings, and so I'm assuming that there has been some kind of miscommunication as to why they are not here tonight.
Okay, thank you. So I'll leave it to the pleasure of the body, of the board. For me, I think that, the applicant's not here. We've already opened the public hearing. I think it's appropriate to move on with the case. The applicant, this has been advertised. Reginald has already mentioned that they've been in communication. We have a couple options. We have the option to defer on behalf of the applicant and give them a deferral. I mean, it's up to you guys. I can't take a vote, so I'll let you guys kind of give me your comments on that, what your thoughts are. It sounds like, Commissioner Perry, it sounds like you would prefer to, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but you just let me know. Sounds like you would prefer to not do the public hearing and allow maybe the applicant to come in, maybe at the next meeting? Let me know what you're thinking.
No, that's not my choice. All I was saying is if we have the public hearing and as a group we decided to defer, we won't have a public hearing at the next meeting. And I was just stating a point. So we can, I'm actually fine with going ahead and having a public hearing and casting a vote for approval or denial. But I just want to make that point so that if other people are saying, I'd rather defer, and if the majority wanted to defer, then I would say we should close that public hearing immediately so that we can have one if we had a deferral.
Okay. Commissioner Jones. Thank you, Commissioner Perry.
So, staff didn't catch that. before you open the public hearing, and that is that if we're gonna have a public hearing, then we don't need to discuss a deferral, because a deferral would mean that we were going to allow them to come back, but the applicant would not be able to say anything in defense of what they're presenting to this commission. So then I think we should take that off the table, and we should decide whether or not we're gonna move forward with the public hearing here, and then the body should deliberate and make a decision.
Okay, so do you have anything, Commissioner Jefferson?
I'm just gonna agree, we need to make a decision whether or not we're gonna vote, deny, or move forward with the public.
Okay. And Commissioner Vaughn, did you have any comments?
Based on the circumstances, we need to make a vote on what we're going to do about this case in the absence of the applicant, the no-show, and denial, deferral, you know, the choices that we have.
Okay. And just keep in mind, commissioners, that the applicant also may not show up to the next meeting too if they so choose. So, I mean, just keep that in mind. So, doesn't mean they're gonna show up to the next meeting if we decide to close the public hearing and move it to the next meeting, right? So, I guess we can, I'll have a motion to close the public hearing.
No, before you do that, let me just state that I think I'm in agreement with Commissioner Perry that we are just, I'm sorry, let me get to this microphone. That we're just saying, if we were to consider a deferral, then if we opened up the public hearing, then there would be no need for deferral, because when they came, we've already dealt with it. They're not here. Staff said they reached out. Maybe there was a miscommunication. Maybe there wasn't. We don't know, but we're here. The public is here.
So, Reginald. Okay.
So go ahead. It seems like the consensus is, let's just keep on going.
So the consensus is right now that we want to put a motion on the floor to vote on this application tonight.
No. To go ahead and finish with the public hearing.
Got it. Okay. Just want to make sure we're clear. Okay. Got it. So we have how many for opposition?
2.
Can I get the first opposer?
Dr. Harris.
Hello.
Hi.
They say save the best for last, so here we go.
You have
All
10 minutes.
So, I am Dr. Shelley Harris, and I reside at 4296 Shamrock Drive. I am the president of the HOA at the retreat at Jones Mill. I would like to first give a shout out to Yolanda for getting our shirts. That's why we have these shirts like this. We say home sweet home, not townhome. So we stand before you today as neighbors and stakeholders deeply invested in the future of our community. The proposed townhome development in our single-family neighborhood raises serious concerns that cannot be overlooked. Using the word townhomes as a framework, we wish to highlight the critical issues at stake. It's going to trigger increased traffic. Townhomes would significantly increase vehicle trips per day, adding congestion to the roads, not built to handle it. Overstepping zoning rules. The proposal disregards the zoning vision and long-standing planning expectations of this area. Changing this now sets a precedent that undermines trust in community development standards. Wildlife and green space would be destroyed. This development would erase mature trees, natural buffers, and habitats that make this neighborhood unique and livable. Noise and disruption. Increased density means more cars, more people, and more noise, all of which change the peaceful character of our community. Home values hurt. Numerous studies show that inserting high-density developments into low-density areas reduces property values and disrupts cohesion. Opposes the community's vision. Residents have consistently voiced a desire for sustainable, balanced growth that aligns with the character of our neighborhood, and this project does the opposite. maximizes developer profits, not livability. The primary beneficiaries of this project are those building it, not the families living near it. E, encroaches on established neighborhoods. Development pushes into spaces intentionally set aside for low-density, family-focused living. And S, shrinks quality of life. More noise, less privacy, and crowded streets reduce the day-to-day well-being of current residents. We are not opposed to progress. We are opposed to misplaced priorities. Responsible growth should enhance, not erase, the qualities that make our community a desirable place to live. We urge you to vote no on this townhome project and stand with the residents who are asking to preserve the integrity, safety, and sustainability of our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have one more?
Mrs. Williams?
Good evening. I'm Yolanda Banks, and I'm at 4260 Shamrock Drive. Shelley, our wonderful homeowner association president, has stated our collective position on this so well. The only thing I really want to add to this, if this is yes, this is a rendering. So this was initially to be phase 2 of our subdivision, the retreat at Jones Mill. And this is just to give some color and context. I'm one of the original purchasers. We've been at the property about 17 years, as are many of us represented here. So from its initial proposal by the original declarant, it was to be an additional 12 homes, I believe it was. Definitely not this 40 to 50 number. And so that is one of the positions that we maintained. We've been in consult with legal as well as civic, and we just wanted to stand on that and compel you to do the right thing and to maintain the balance in our community, that we have smart growth. And that's the purpose of our shirts logo. We are for growth, we are for progression and progress. Just we don't want it at the detriment of everyone's quality of life. And just one last thing, Shamrock Drive is a horseshoe. It goes one entrance, one exit back to Jones Road. And so when we say the impact that it will have on our roads, we really mean it would exponentially confound that little street and little road. And that's what I wanted to share this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have 4 minutes in. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Perfect. Okay. So, and we have no more cards, correct?
Did Tanya Williams want to speak?
Hello, I'm Tanya Williams. Retreat at Jones Mill, 4343 Shamrock Drive. And our neighborhood is made up entirely of single-family homes. And placing a multi-unit townhome building in our middle of our subdivision would completely be out of place. It doesn't match the character, design, or layout of our community. And we strongly believe that it would negatively impact the appearance, traffic flow, and property value in our community. The proposed location is directly across the street from my driveway, raising concerns about the increase of traffic flow and safety. Construction crews have already used my driveway to back up their vehicles, and I'm concerned about the heavy equipment, what it would do to my property and my neighbor's property, and blocking our property, because that's one problem we had 2 weeks ago with them blocking our drive. And we're not, like we say, we're not against development, but it must be aligned with the structure and character of our neighborhood. If the developer were to build single-family homes or cottages, that would be much more appropriate in keeping with the community that we have built and maintained. I respectfully request that development be denied Thank you.
Thank you.
No more cards.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Commissioners, do we have any questions for the staff since the applicant is not here? Okay. Seeing no further questions or comments, I now close the public hearing for this case. We'll now take our first vote, which is on the findings of fact as presented by staff. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve staff's finding of fact.
All in favor, say aye.
Second.
I'm sorry. My apologies. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this motion carries. Now we're going to take our second vote, and this is to approve, deny, or defer the application. Can I get a motion on the floor for action on case Z25-004, an application by Resurgent Consulting LLC requesting a rezoning from Community Unit Plan, which is CUP, to TR Townhouse Residential District in the Cliftondale Overlay District to develop 44 townhomes on 16.53 acres at 0 Shamrock Drive. This property is in City Council District 3. Do I have a motion for approval, denial, or deferral on the application?
I make a motion to deny Z25004/CDP 25 dash. Oh, we're doing them separately? Yeah, okay, well. I make a motion to deny Z25-004.
That's the rezoning request.
So on my agenda, there's only a rezoning request.
It's a land use change too. They're asking for. That's the CDP 25.
So on case Z25-004, on mine, it just says a rezoning from CUP to TR. It doesn't, there's no land use change on my agenda. Do you see something different on yours?
It says the applicant is also seeking to change the future land use from suburban neighborhood to suburban 2 neighborhood.
That's correct. There's a land use change as well. It might not have made it onto the agenda, but it is on the staff report.
Okay. Can you provide me with a copy of that really quick? Because I don't have that. Because I can't call the motion correctly if I don't have the correct agenda. Thank you. Okay. So it's not on the actual agenda. It's on the staff report. That's what the issue is. Okay. And we did the motion?
He did it for the rezoning.
Got it. Okay. Did we already have a second?
Second.
Okay. And we did it pass? Okay. It's been a long day. Okay, got it. Okay, here we go. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, the motion carries. And now we're going to do our second vote. I'm sorry, our third vote, which is going to be seeking to change the future land use plan from suburban neighborhood to suburban 2 neighborhood District 3.
I move that we deny the land use change from suburban neighborhood to suburban neighborhood 3.
Okay. Can you repeat that in your mic because we can't hear you?
I move that we deny the future land use change going from suburban neighborhood, what is it, 1 to 2? Suburban neighborhood 2?
Yes, it's going from suburban neighborhood to suburban 2 neighborhood. Okay, do we have a motion for do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah, aye.
You sure?
Yeah, aye.
Okay, so we got aye, so everyone is requesting denial. Okay, so this has been, this motion has carried, and it is a recommendation of denial. Thank you guys for coming out to this not council meeting, I'm sorry. We are not at the council meeting, we're at the planning commission meeting. We got council members in the room right now, y'all. They're making me nervous, y'all. But thank you everyone who came out to the planning commission meeting tonight. It's been a long day. I screwed up a little bit on that last motion, but we got it right. Everybody's voice matters, so we really appreciate it. We appreciate y'all showing up and showing out and just voicing your opinions, whether, we're approving denial, whether we're recommending approval to council. It all matters. So please keep coming out and showing up. And commissioners, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Okay.
So seconded.
Okay. The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you and have a great evening.